going on, everybody? Red Velvet's here, and I have a very special guest in studio, Coach David Stephens from the Greencastle Tiger Cubs. How are we doing today?
Doing great. Thanks for having me on.
Hey, it's my pleasure. Thank you. Greencastle is near and dear to my heart. My parents taught there for many, many years, so I kind of grew up as an honorary Tiger Cub. That's my self-title. Anyway.
I tell you what, we'll take them any way we can. We'll take full-blooded. We'll take honorary. We'll take anyone again. If anybody wants to cheer on the purple and gray, we welcome into the family.
It's awesome. I love going into that stadium. I was actually at the graduation when they said Robert L. Harbison Stadium. I was there when he got retired, so I felt like I've just grown up in that place, and it's just a fun stadium to be in.
Yeah, Mr. Harbison is great. He was principal when I was in high school there, and he was at the very end, ready close for retirement. I think he retired my senior year, actually. Mm-hmm. And then, he would do stuff. I mean, he'd always come in, be friendly in the cafeteria, stuff like that. He may even take some piece of food off your tray or something like that. One day he snatched a tater tot off my tray. I was like, did that just happen? Did he just snatch a tater tot off my tray? It's like, okay, we're good. We just let it roll. So, no, it's Robert Harbison Stadium. He still is around, and he attends as many games as he can. You see all-time basketball games, and it's good to see, somebody that bleeds that purple and gray through and through.
It is. Your first time on the show. Who is Coach Stephens? Growing up, background. Let's just get into the nitty-gritty.
Bore everybody to tears here. So I'm a kiddo who I grew up in western rural Ohio. Lived there till I was about 14. It's where my parents met and married and grew up. And my parents, a lot of people, get divorced and stuff like that. And my dad had remarried a woman from Greencastle. Okay. So I had no family relation or affiliation here. And then after my freshman year in high school, I moved to Greencastle and have kind of been around from Greencastle to Terre Haute. I actually lived in Brazil for a year. Oh. Yeah, my last year at when I was doing my student teaching at Cloverdale. Okay. I lived in Brazil for a year. So I can't remember the little diner there on the main strip there, but I probably ate there 40 times that year. It's a good breakfast there. And then, I've coached around, Greencastle, Owen Valley, Pike Central, Terre Haute North. I've been all around this Edgewood for a long time, all around this part. So I feel like I'm a Western Indiana Conference kind of guy. Got some roots, affiliation, some guys here. And it's kind of been West Central Indiana for since I was 14, 15 years old.
Mm-hmm. Wow, you've been well-traveled.
Yes, yeah. It's a small area, but yes.
What got you into coaching?
So I was one of those kiddos that just kind of super hyper, needs something to do, like an old working dog. Right. I was better with something to do. And then I was also a kid like getting in a fist fight. Okay. Some people don't like it. I mean, it was something I really enjoyed. Mm-hmm. And that was not good for me. I was, getting in trouble and stuff like that. Yeah. And I had to find an outlet for that physicality. Mm-hmm. And, luckily I had a coach that just like I think a lot of us do, just nobody ever really said anything complimentary to me. He's kind of, it was Coach Mike Hockey when I was in 7th grade. He goes, "Hey, man, you look like a fullback." Hey, what is a fullback? He goes, "Don't worry. We'll teach you what it is." And so I went through and told him, "Hey, Mom, I'm going to play some football this year." "Oh, yeah? I'm going to be a fullback." "Okay, great." So, we didn't play football until 7th grade. There was no youth football or anything like that. And so played football in 7th, 8th grade in Mississinawa Valley High School. And when I got to my freshman year in high school was at Mississinawa Valley again there in Union City, Ohio, and was fortunate enough to play with a guy who ended up being the 5th pick in the NFL draft with Peyton Manning's class. Curtis Enos went to Penn State and then was the 5th pick by the Bears in the 98 draft. So I got to see that kind of side of football, from just fun to oh my goodness, a guy from a small rural place can get out and do something with his life with this game. And to me, that kind of really opened my eyes to a different side of football. And then, you come to Indiana and you get to a place where Greencastle, we got a legendary coach and Hall of Famer and John Fallis, and learning from him just the different side of it. He's just extremely disciplined. The guy's a triathlete. Yeah. He's a calculus teacher. Just a different breed of human being. And he is, you just get those kind of mold those things. And I just didn't know what I wanted to do. I thought I was going to do be the next Stuart Scott or something like that. You go to ESPN, and I realized what broadcasters make that aren't on ESPN.
It's not much, just so clear.
Yeah. So I was like, well, I can't survive on that. So I was like, well, what do I want to do? my junior year in high school, I was lucky enough to get a cadet teaching job. One of my social studies teachers said, "Hey, how'd you like to do cadet teaching?" Once again, that's like football. What's cadet teaching? And then I got to grade some papers, stuff like that, and I felt important, stuff like that, and had some guys kind of take me under their wing as adults, stuff like that. And so that's really kind of how I got it. So I had some adults that kind of helped guide me through my journey, and I was like, I think that's what I want to do. I think I like football. I know that, and I think I like teaching. I like that. So I went to Indiana State University and didn't really have any other thought in mind. I was saying, I'm going to teach, and I'm going to coach football, and that's what I'm going to do.
Nice. What is cadet teaching?
So those of us who don't know, cadet teaching is basically you get to just be a teacher's helper. So I graded papers, I would go organize things, I go make copies, whatever he needed done for his class. That's what I did. And boy, I wish I had a cadet teacher. It'd be nice to have them take off some of this grading sometime. A lot of coaches, they're in the weight room and stuff like that. And all my coaching buddies who are in the weight room all day like to give me the business because I'm a history teacher. Okay. So I'm lecturing about like things like Reconstruction today, and then I'm grading tests while they're doing setups and bench presses and stuff like that. So I like it. It's intellectually stimulating, but the grading part is kind of tough. It'd be nice to have a cadet teacher like I was back in the day.
Yeah. If there's anybody out there interested in being a cadet teacher, we know one who would love
the job is yours.
Exactly. I don't know what it pays, but it's not about that. It's about helping the guy out. Greencastle transitioned to a new conference, the Monon Conference. How did that come about?
So it was something that was talked about. So I got to Greencastle as the head coach in 23, and there was some rumors about what they were going to do as far as joining a conference, not joining a conference. There was 5 teams from the Sagamore Conference that were leaving. They were looking for kind of dancing partners to be with them, and they kind of explored different schools and had feelers out, stuff like that. And the principal at the time, Chad Rogers, had broached to me and asked my opinion. And my initial thought was, no. I grew up watching us play Owen Valley and Northview, and and I don't know what it does for the county and things like that. And so my initial thought was like, no, I want people whose older brothers and dads played against these teams, play against the same teams. I'm kind of a traditionalist in that regard. So I thought that was that. And then about a year later, maybe in 24 sometime, they'd come to me, or maybe in the spring of 24, and said, hey, listen, we're in a situation where they've got the conference filled. Cascade, who was going back to the WIC, jumped ship and is now in the MAC. And there's 2 spots, and it's either us or South Putnam. And one of us is going to be out to dry. Yeah. And, because we thought that what happened is that the divisions, kind of what has happened to the WIC has happened, that the divisions would go away, and that you're facing every year where you're trying to face Northview for a conference title, and who knew Vincennes was coming in. But that's not where 2A Greencastle wants to find itself every year in football, at least. Yeah. And then it made sense on a lot of different things. So they asked me my opinion. I said, hey, listen, if we're going to be left, as the little man in a conference that we can't compete with, or we're going to be with a bunch of schools that are 2A, 3A, and it's in the same area, I go, then I kind of put my stamp of approval on that. And then the 80s got together, and it's worked out great because it's 18 conference. So we got our first 2 games of the season are non-conference. And I kind of wish that Indiana high school itself would set up like that. Everybody plays your conference, the back half of your schedule. That way everybody has open weeks, so you can get, because matchups, unless the tournament produces them, there'd be some really cool and interesting matchups that could happen if everybody had those first 2 or 3 weeks that were open, so you could get some more open scheduling. Right now it's well, my opening week is week 7. It's we're trying to find a dancing partner for week 7 when that might be the heart of somebody else's conference. It's tough. So I think that's how that kind of came about. We're excited about our conference. We had our first conference game versus Frankfurt. Never been to the city. Nice looking school. I mean, it was a cool atmosphere up there. Playing in front of that school. Now they're the only 4A that's in our conference, but they're not a big 4A. So I think they kind of fit the mold with some of the teams in our conference. And then it's a lot of the schools are pretty much up. You kind of got Frankfurt and Western Boone are kind of outliers, but everything's just, we're right at 231. It's us. It's North Putnam. Yeah. It's us, North Putt, Southmont, Crawfordsville, Northmont. I mean, that's most of our conference right there, and that's a half-hour, 40-minute drive. Right. And for football, it's not as bad because we play on Friday nights, we get Saturdays off. But if I'm catching a volleyball game on a Tuesday night, and you have to go to Brown County or Sullivan or something like that. That's tough for those kids, and so I think it's a big deal for our other athletes and other sports to be able to that play throughout the week to not get home at 11 o'clock. And then, hey, by the way, Greencastle is a high academic school. I'm going to throw this in a shout out. We got more academic state championships than anybody else in the state of Indiana.
Congratulations.
Yeah, well, I didn't do it, but I mean, but congratulations to those really smart and so it's a high academic place, and and they're going to hold you to the fire on that, and an expectation is bred throughout the school of high academic achievement. And so our kiddos, when we get home at 11, we're still going to have to put in the work for their homework or stuff like that. So I think it's good for those kids to now get home at a reasonable time to where playing a sport doesn't have to be such a sacrifice to them.
Absolutely. And then with that, your two non-conference games were county games, weren't they?
We played Eastern Hancock and then
Hancock,
South Putnam. We'd love for them to be two county games, but Cloverdale already had some things scheduled up that work for them, and they got to do what's best for their program. And so for us, we tried to find, and it's amazing, you get a little bit of success, and then nobody wants to play it. I mean, I thought you'd think we were Bishop Chittard or something. I reached out to 40 schools.
Oh my goodness!
And couldn't get a dancing partner. I could not. I was like, no. And so we finally, Tipton wanted a new first week, but they were playing Eastern Hancock's opponent. And then Doug Greenley, our athletic director, was able to say, hey, if you take this, we'll take Eastern Hancock. So we've got a 1-1 with Eastern Hancock. They're a solid 2A program. They're the top 10 in Sagarin ratings right now. And then also they have played for a state title before, so they know how to do things there. And then South Putnam, they're a beast of their own. So we like our schedule. We feel like we had a good, tough conference schedule, and we feel like we really scheduled up in our out-of-conference schedule. Last time I checked, we were number 2 in strength of schedule for Sagarin and 2A. So, it makes it tough as far as trying to get easy wins in the season, but I think that it prepares us when we get to a postseason that we're ready and we're kind of battle-tested. Right. Any things that we have flaws with our team, we're figuring out now, and so we don't have to figure out in October. Oh wow, this kiddo can't play at the level we thought, but now we got it now. So we're kind of making some adaptations and changes right now. So we like that schedule. Like the Monon Conference. There's some tough teams. I mean, Cascade's an absolute juggernaut right now.
Yes, they are.
Western Boone has won, I think, 3 state titles in the last 6 years. Got nothing but respect for those guys, but never played against those guys. But saw them on film. Kind of feel like we got a good game plan for them coming up this Friday. But we'll see how it goes. You don't know till you've kind of been through how it is. Like you can think one thing on film, but we'll know after a couple snaps if our physicality can match our physicality and so forth, of our speed and their speed. We'll see how it goes.
Yeah, well, and you coming off of a big win against Frankfurt, setting the tone early. I mean, you want to be the first MAC champion.
Yeah. We want to win everything all the time.
It's always good to be the first.
Yeah, no. So, and that's hard. I mean, we know that Western Boone and Cascade was going to be highly ranked and should be. Yeah. They've got a phenomenal team. Connor Simmons does a great job. Not only do they have big, strong, fast, physical kids there, they run a scheme that's difficult to prepare for. They run tempo, which is difficult to prepare for. Western Boone, same thing. They don't get really, both those teams don't get really exotic in what they call, but they do what they do really, really well. And kind of a football purist, I appreciate that. Like, I'm from the days where I watch Bruce Cyphers and like Ron Colley run, toss, sweep 25 times a game. You knew it was coming. It's like, okay, can you stop it? And that's kind of, you face those guys, you're going to stop buck sweep and Cascade, and you face Weibo, you're going to have to stop triple. And that's the way it is, and that's how they run their stuff. And I have a high level of respect for guys like that. They get the job done and keep it simple for their kids, and they play fast and physical. So
absolutely.
We're excited about Friday night.
Well, it's going to be fun.
Yeah,
I've had a blast watching you the last couple of years, and even going a little more into the weeds, covering you guys. And I mean, I have Dinerverse stats because I'm a nerd. I mean, your quarterback's first in yards and touchdowns. Your receiver, Trevin Long, receptions, yards, tutties. And then even in the state, passing in the top 15, receiving number 4. Heck, your kicker's in the top 25 too. So it's like Greencastle it's there.
Yeah, I mean, we always feel like we've been good with our offenses and our offensive schemes, and we feel like, I'm in year 22 coaching varsity football, and year 15 of being a coordinator or head coach.
Yeah.
And so we've tried to, I embraced the spread early, and the spread's kind of adapted to the different places we've been and the kids we've had. And we were at Owen Valley. We were fortunate enough to break off a lot of points, a lot of good stats and those things like that. And all for the sake of trying to get wins. And we want to make football fun. Like for us, I don't have repeated, 6'2", 275-pound kids. I just don't have that at Greencastle. What I do have is I have some linemen that can move. And I usually always have a kid that can throw the ball around a little bit. And I got a bunch of little fast guys that can catch a football.
Yeah.
So we've adapted our offense, to kind of fit the kind of kids that we have repeatedly at Greencastle. And we get that right mix of big dudes on the line with the kind of kids we get all the time. And we like it a lot. I mean, and we try and do it all the way through. A lot of credit goes to my junior varsity coach, Chris Scott. He'll try and mimic what we do. I mean, most teams in JV may not look what they do on a Friday night. Our guys will throw the ball 35 times in the junior varsity game, not bad a night. Yeah. Same with our middle school. We throw the ball. That's what we do at all level. Our youth league will get in 2x2 open and we'll throw the ball. And that's just, we feel that's our best suited. I feel like the best programs have some uniformity top to bottom. So credit to Coach Scott at my JV level, to Brian Mail at my junior high level, and Jimmy Beasley, who's our president of our youth league, and for all the coaches. I mean, they come through and did like coaches training and stuff like that, and kind of learn simple stuff like that. So to get a whole buy-in from the community, it's really hard, but everybody's kind of trying to buy into the same thing because we all have the same vision, is that we want to take Greencastle just from a average 500 type place to a place that really competes at the top end. And it's one of those things that's a long build, but we hope to get there.
And I like that you mentioned youth leagues. Like they're running, I'm assuming, modified versions of what you got, and I feel like that's what the successful programs do. They start in the youth, and it's just by the time that second grade class gets to seniors, they've got 10 years, and it's muscle memory at that point. So I like that. We just started that here in Brazil a year ago, and just hoping to see how it goes. And I think it's going to go well. And that's phenomenal that they are mimicking what the big boys do.
Yeah, I mean, it's not like we say when football's much about recruiting your own school and your own community as it is anything else. I mean, I think in certain sports, basketball, baseball, you can have a couple of guys involved. However, you're not going to be good if you have 3 or 4 players. Right. You have to have a team of dudes. I mean, about 14, 15 dudes that can play. And for us, one of the things that our youth guys had to buy into, but they have willingly bought into and done a great job with it, is dividing our teams up. Before it was one team, one dream, and win a bunch of youth games, and then we get to high school, and then maybe 3 or 4 or 5, 6 of those 15 don't play. Then now you're stuck with kids who aren't great or whatever, and we've also stayed at junior high, where teams are playing one game or whatever. That was another benefit of being in our conference. The MAC conference is like we feel like every team in that conference, by and large, 8% is going to be able to field a 7th grade and 8th grade football team. And we feel like that's what is best interest for us. And with our youth league, with those guys, they stay split up throughout the year, and we take our lumps. You can look at the youth league schedule, our rankings right now. They're great. But when those guys do come together in the year and all those kids have been coached up, we believe in repetitions and what we're teaching. They do really well. And we're excited about what it looks like when those guys come together.
Well, that's nice that you split it up, because I announced the CYFL tournament they had last fall. Greencastle, I believe, won 2 out of the 3 divisions. So that's good. When they finally come together, they're running the same thing. It's like, all right, boys, well, let's go to work.
And a kid who made a pick 6, his name escapes me right now, and that's one of the things that kind of our coaches really got buy-in. If it was one team, he got a pick 6 in the game and wouldn't have played. He would not have been a player if it was just at the start of the season or whatever. He was a kid who got reps, got to start every week, got to practice, and then turned himself into a player by the end of the season, got developed, and was able to really contribute in a big way in a championship game. And guys, this is what it's about. It's about like we're not going to be blessed with just studs walking out of the woodwork. That doesn't happen here. We got to make homegrown studs. We got to develop them over the years. And so all the credit in the world goes to those guys for really buying into that vision. And, Coach Beasley does a great job of kind of keeping those guys locked into what we're doing. And he deals with some of the stuff when they're not happy about it. But, so it's a really good deal. And I'm very, very thankful for what those guys are doing. And I tell them, I learned a lesson from Eric Moore, head coach of Center Grove. He said, when they won their first state title, he bought everybody rings all the way down to the youth coaches.
Oh, that's awesome.
And if we're in a situation where that happens, every single cat that's involved with our program will get a ring, because it's not just the high school, it's not just the varsity, it's a true program, and you've got to have buy-in K through 12 for it to be where you want it to be.
Absolutely. Now, there's been one question I've been waiting for years to ask, because when you took over at Greencastle, something changed. Your helmets went from the Green Bay G to the Tiger Stripes. And when I saw you walk out on the field that game, I was like, what just happened here? I fell in love with those helmets. What brought that up?
So, I'm a guy who you kind of dream like what it's like, being 17, 18 years old, sitting in class at Greencastle, like, we had the old interlocking GHS and stuff like that. I'm like, man, I really love the Bengals helmet. And remember, I grew up in Western Ohio.
Yep.
So my first love was Cincinnati Bengals and Boomer Esiason and stuff. So, like, to me, it was a special place in my heart. I'm like, if I ever, and I came back and coached at Greencastle as a coordinator, and we did some cool things, but we were kind of locked into that Green Bay, Georgia G. And I was like, if I ever get a chance, I'm going to stripe those out with the purple stripes on that perfect silver metallic helmet, and it's going to look good. Okay. And, that now I stripe 95% of those helmets. and so, they say, like, necessity is the mother of invention. So we start a thing in the summertime, because it's so difficult to stripe all those helmets. It's so time consuming, because you want to get it right. Like, I'm real.
I get it.
Meticulous about that. If the stripes are kind of going up like this, that's not right. How it should be. So we started a thing called Earn Your Stripes.
Okay.
And so, like, when we have somebody that's exhibiting some of the characteristics we want, toughness, hustle, dedication, coaching young guys up, whatever it is, just something outstanding, we pick a guy, one or two a day, starting in the summertime. Hey, who's earned their stripes today? And so that's one of those things that we kind of wanted to start striping throughout the summer. Yeah. So it wouldn't be, right for the week where we're trying to stripe 50 helmets. Yeah. But it was one of those things that's really taken off, and the kids are like, can I get my stripes? You know what I'm saying? And that's what we want to do. It's turned into a big thing for our guys, really, as a badge of honor. And people say, why did some guys have stripes? Because the guys got to earn their stripes. Yeah. Like that. And it's an incentive for guys. So I really like that. And then I just in love with the way the look is. We're going to do something a little different for a couple of games with our helmet this year. We were partnered with a company called Game Day Skins. So we're going to have a couple of games this year where we're going like a matte black. That's going to change our helmets for black for 2 weeks. And we have an oversized, our Tiger logo, and chrome, purple, and silver on there. So we're going black, and black with the black helmets and the chrome helmets. Yeah, it's the chrome logo on it. So we're pretty excited. I mean, we've geared those kids up, all brand new Under Armour stuff, sublimated stuff. I mean, we try to make our kids want to have the best of the best and have a great experience playing football. And it may not matter to a lot of people, but it matters to kids. And the kids are the kids we have to recruit. I'm not recruiting 40-year-old men to play football. Right. So if you don't like as a 40-year-old man, that's not really my concern. What does 16-year-old, 17-year-olds want? That's what we try and do.
You might recruit a 36-year-old offensive guard here, because I kind of those uniforms sound pretty sweet.
Hey, listen, you can never have enough linemen. You got eligibility, we'll take it.
I started playing on my sophomore year, so I got 1 more year.
There you go.
What is your favorite memory of coaching as of right now?
Oh man, I tell you what, it's not just one memory. So I've coached for a long time. The last 2 years and 3 games, whatever it is, I've been blessed enough to coach my son. Mm-hmm. And so that's different. It's a challenge, because there's a lot of things and preconceptions about what it's like. And there's a lot of people that have trauma from people who have coached their kids throughout. So there's a lot of those things. And sometimes I didn't let myself enjoy coaching him as much, just to try and, avoid those things that people might say or think, go over the top to make sure that he's not getting this kind of special treatment. Right. And you hear that noise still, but at this point, it's you kind of ignore it now, because now I'm just his last 2 years, his career is where his career is. There's no stats. He's our all-time leading passer. He's 6,000 career yards, 70 touchdowns. I mean, we're not playing for stats, playing for wins and playing for love of the game right now. Right. So it's just a matter of just enjoying the ride, and it's helped us, because Dad's not on him so crazy, and he's enjoying it, and I'm enjoying it, and it's been really, I would say, so this year, being able to coach from a perspective with your son and you realize it's winding down.
Yep.
And I want to kind of I don't want to blink and it be over with and be like, what happened? I blur and then I didn't get to enjoy that time. So coaching him, that's a dad. That's my dad answer. Individually, there's some things that happened along the way before he came. We were able to beat South Putnam his freshman year, like 50-49 in a thriller in a county rivalry game. That was huge. And South Putnam's a great team. Before that, when I was at Pike Central, we played. And Pike Central is about as low as it gets in high school football. But we played North Post maybe 2 years after they had been a state title, and we were able to beat them 50-49 in overtime. In their place, we started the fourth quarter down 21 points. Mm-hmm. And so I'm up there trying to figure out how to call some plays that work. And we're down 21 in the fourth quarter, and their box guys got to come down. Oh. And as they had to pass by my side, and it's like, hey, coach, good game. I'm like, wait, it's like 10 minutes ago. I didn't know we were done. So then we went in overtime. Oh, you guys, you have a good night, whatever. And I found that guy said, yeah, you're going to have a great night tonight. So that was awesome to see that and just see the joy in a place that didn't have a whole lot of joy in football and be able to go in a place like North Posey and beat them in overtime. And credit to our head coach, Justin Valentine. We're not going for one here. We're going for two, and we're winning this thing right now. Oh, yeah. And it paid off, and everybody was happy. And some of those guys still have pictures of that night, and that happened in 2015 on their Facebook background stuff to this day. Yeah. So that's when you can be part of a moment like that. That's kind of like life changing for certain people. It's great to be a small part of that.
Yeah, absolutely. We talked before the show. He coached at Tote North when I played at Northview, so we had a little bit of a exchange there. Yeah, you were left by the time we beat North, so I guess it doesn't matter there.
Yeah,
and then you were assistant or offensive coordinator at Owen Valley.
So Owen Valley, I was offensive coordinator in 21 and 22.
Okay, so then that's when my son was a freshman and sophomore, and we didn't beat Owen Valley those 2 years, but so we've had a little crossover.
It was some good games. Yeah. Some good games. I know that in 21 it came down to. We kind of got ourselves in a situation where we got behind the sticks there at the end when we needed something. We were able to call a reverse pass for a touchdown that everybody was open. And it was an offensive coordinator. You're like, yes, that play worked. And then you're also like, oh, everybody's open. Hopefully he throws to the one kid that can catch. and I go back, and I didn't notice at the time, but as he threw it, the Cherry kid had our receiver. He had threw it, and he hit him so hard. And it was a great hit. Luckily, the ball was already out of his fingertips by the time Cherry had hit him. And we just fluttered right in the end zone perfectly for a nice little touchdown. And that was great. And then the following year, Northview was like, hey, wait a minute, man. We beat these guys like 140-6 in the last couple of years. Well, we don't lose you guys. So they came back to our place the next year, and we were able to go on a situation. We're known as the team that spread and does this kind of stuff. And as an offensive coordinator, I took pride in the fact that we were able against, Coach Rach's defense, who I have a ton of respect for. We went on a 12.5-minute drive and just played keep away for a long time. And, and I tease Mark about this sometimes. Like there's film of him taking his clipboard and throwing it down. We convert like the last kind of third down that gets us like first and goal. Yeah. And it's like, and we cap off that drive with a touchdown that kind of puts it like 3.5 scores, something like that in there. And so those are really good memories, going against Northview. Now, since I've been at Greencastle, hasn't been so good. We had a COVID game year one we played. We had like I don't know, 11 kids out with COVID and got the brakes beat off of us. And then last year was a lightning game, then came back, and Northview was ready to play. We weren't, and then we got the brakes. Now, we've got phenomenal kids right now, a lot of talent, a lot of speed on that group, along with big physical kids. So, a lot of credit to those guys, and I'll miss playing Northview every year. It'll be good, and it's nice too. You get into these Wabash Valley games and stuff like that, and then I was like, "Hey, all right, Mark, we're not playing this show. Well, let me pick your brain about what you're doing and why you're doing it." And stuff like that. I'm like, okay, that makes sense. So always like trying to build that knowledge base. So if I ever get against Coach Rates again a little bit, he's going to do something a little bit different because I picked his brain. Plus, he just gave me a little bit of stuff. So
that's true. Final question. Do you have any game day rituals? Do you have to eat that perfect sandwich? Do you have to put on those black basketball shorts the day of?
So it's nerds clusters.
Okay. If
we don't have the nerds clusters there, one coach has to go. you have to, and that started at Owen Valley.
Yeah.
I don't know why. Just one day, Coach Pardue, our offensive line coach, brought in some nerds clusters, and we started winning, and we kept winning, and we kept winning, and it was like, and then we played Sullivan. I think a week after we played Northview in 21, feeling good to ourselves. You don't have no nerds clusters, and we lost the regular season game to Coach Powell and the boys when they were at Sullivan. We got them back in sectionals, but that week, and then we've had nerd clusters ever since that week 5 of 2021. We've been nerd clusters with us every week, so they work some of that.
I'm just glad that there's somebody that has the superstitious I am, because every coach I've asked like, no, and I feel like a crazy.
No, they're lying. They're lying. Listen, we're all a little bit crazy for doing this job, and nobody really wants to admit to our craziness, our rituals, or whatever like that. Sometimes I would, before we had the nerds clusters, I would go, what can I do? What have I not worn? I mean, instead of having like lucky, I'm going to intentionally wear something I know we've lost in, just to reverse superstition. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Just to do that. Now, I know this, that I'm hoping that we're not jinxed in our black uniforms. We wore those things twice since I've been at Greencastle, and they've both been losses for us. So hopefully we break that curse this year.
I hope you do too. Real quick, I do want to thank our sponsors for letting us do what we do. Wabash Valley Plumbing, they lay pipe. That's our slogan, not theirs. RJ's Formal Wear, Stitched Embroidery and Apparel, and Everhope Co. Thank you, sponsors. Thank you, subscribers. And if you want to help support the Diner Podcast, you can subscribe on Facebook for 99 cents a month, less than a cup of coffee. There's my shameless plug. Okay. Coach, thank you. It's been a pleasure.
Thank you for having on. Go Cubs.
Go Cubs. I can't believe I just said that.
Yeah, you did.
We're out of here. Keep pushing.